Hello, everybody. My guest today is Rob Fuggetta. He is the world's leading advocate marketing expert. He's the author of Brand Advocates, Turning Enthusiastic Customers into a Powerful Marketing Force. He's also founder and CEO of Zuberance, the leading full-service advocate marketing company. Rob, are you ready to take us to the top?
I am.
All right.
Go.
My audience loves SaaS. So let's talk Zuberance first and then book second. Tell me what Zuberance does and how you make money.
Right. So we are an advocate marketing company. And what we do for brands like Lyft and TiVo and Intuit and others is we help them build what we call an advocate army. And that advocate army usually consists of thousands of enthusiastic customers. And then we make it easy and rewarding for those advocates to tell the brand's story, share offers, to essentially serve as a volunteer marketing force for those brands.
And revenue model, is it a pure play SaaS or what?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do people pay on average per month, would you say?
Well, I mean, it depends on the scope of the program, the number of advocates and other factors. But for a fraction of what brands pay for paid media, and by a fraction, I mean for, starting at about 5 to 10K a month, they can have a full service advocate marketing program and tens of thousands of advocates in their advocate army.
So, I mean, is it fair to say then maybe an average customer might pay you $5,000 a month, something like that?
That would be more on the lower end, Nathan. I think average is more in the 10 to 20K range. The ROI on that investment is staggering. I'm sure we're going to be talking about that as we go along.
Yeah, I'd love to. Just to be clear though, I want to pinpoint if you're kind of SMB, mid-market or enterprise, if you're doing $10,000 a month kind of on average or about $120,000 a year in ACV, you're very much in the enterprise world.
Yeah, I would say SMB, larger on the larger end, and then larger brands as well, including some that we mentioned already.
Okay, got it. Very good. Tell me more of the backstory here. When did you launch the company?
Well, so the company was, we kind of date its official start to 2008 when we got our first round of venture capital.
It's a hell of a year to start a company. How did you get VC in 2008?
Wow, you're absolutely right. I mean, actually, the day we were in pitching to the company that became our lead investor is the day that the stock market had its now infamous market meltdown.
Who was that, by the way? Which investor?
Emergence Capital.
Oh, good. Santi. Yeah. We've had Santi on the show many times.
Yeah, fantastic group of guys, great investors. They kept their powder dry during the difficult period. Let me just turn off my notifications so we don't get those annoying little pings in the background.
No problem.
So we kind of dated to that start, but Zuberance, the inspiration of Zuberance really came from Apple, where I worked as a marketing consultant for 10 years on the ground at Apple every day, heading up word of mouth marketing programs. And after leaving Apple and having a couple CMO jobs, I looked around in the marketplace. There wasn't anything like Zuberance out there at that time. So that was the inspiration. It actually grew from my real experiences at Apple in evangelism, customer evangelism, and word of mouth.
How were you doing it at Apple? Was it literally, we got Walt Mosenberg, we got all these PR people. Make sure you send them one gift per month and invite them to the one launch thing every quarter and make sure they're happy. Is that what it looked like? Something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it was very much about building relationships with people like Walt and others, and it was about. I mean, I went on many press tours with Apple product executives, taking them to Boston and to New York and elsewhere to meet with the members of the press and other influencers. But also, we were working, and Apple as a brand is sort of the poster child for advocacy. A lot of advocacy for Apple occurs organically. But we still had a need, for example, when we launched a new product, to find customers, whether it was in higher education or in the graphic arts space, to find real customers who would advocate for Apple. And so we were doing that, but we were doing it in a very manual way.
Okay, so 2008, when you launched, you mentioned you raised capital. How much have you raised to date?
About 15 million.
1.5 or 50?
1.5.
1.5. Okay, and what have you scaled to in terms of total customers you're serving now?
Oh, we've served over 250 brands worldwide.
And are those all active today? So they're still paying?
No, I mean, some of the work that we do is campaign-based.
Okay.
We do some campaign work. We do some ongoing programs. So it's sort of a mixture of both.
Yeah. So just to be clear, it's not a pure play SaaS model. It's more campaign driven.
Well, it can, yeah. So let me explain. So quite often it can start off as a campaign, to get some user-generated content, for example, right? And that can be a 3 or 6 month campaign. But quite often that transitions into an ongoing program, and that's treated more as a typical or traditional SaaS model with a monthly subscription fee.
Okay, so 250 brands that you've touched. How many today, though, have you kind of got into your full program and you're working with them on a monthly basis?
Yeah, over 100, I would say.
Okay, that's pretty healthy. That's pretty
Yeah.
healthy. Okay, I mean, can I take 100 times that $10,000 per month number you said earlier? And I mean, you guys are doing north of $1 million per month at this point. Is that fair?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. How much north? You said that very confidently.
I mean, I'm not able to give you exact figures. Obviously, we're a privately held company, and for competitive reasons and other reasons, we never talk about our revenues. We've been profitable since 2015. We continue to scale and grow the company. And, mostly, I think most important is that there is more and more validation by marketers, by brands, by others, by researchers that there is nothing more powerful than an authentic customer recommendation. And, you, me, everybody really looks with great skepticism at paid messages coming from the brands, including paid influencer messages. Really what everybody, and of course, according to Nielsen, 92% of consumers trust word of mouth over any form of communications, including advertising. And so what's exciting and continues to excite me and our team and kind of gets us up and excited and stoked every morning about this is that more marketers are recognizing that without user-generated content, without authentic customers out there talking up your brand, you really don't have a play today. And so that's what gets us excited, and I think what bodes well for our future.
Why do advocates spend time on your platform? You must give them some incentive to engage with brands that are paying you.
Yeah, for some of the things that they do, we do provide incentives for them. So I'll use an example of a company that is a longtime Zuberance customer, Nito Robotics. Nito is a maker of a robot vacuum, one of those little vacuums that goes through your house, picking up the dust. Okay. So Nito has, is not a large company overall. They are a challenger brand in a space that the market leader has for a long time been iRobot with the Roomba robot vacuum. What Nito knows, though, is that they do have passionate, highly loyal, enthusiastic customers who are willing to go out of their way to recommend. So we've invited those customers to do a number of things. One is to refer friends. Another is to create stories and content. And we give them rewards for that. And they can earn things like points, and those points can be redeemed for things like brand apparel, water bottles, hoodies, even a free Nito robot.
Never cash.
Never cash. And we also do things with charitable contributions as well. We're starting work with a company called Eating Recovery Center, which manages and operates a handful of recovery centers for people who suffer from eating disorders. And the advocates and ambassadors for Eating Recovery Center will actually earn karma points. And those karma points are going to be translated into donations to charity. So, I mean, first and fundamentally, you have to feel like, you are genuinely enthusiastic about, you've had a great experience with a product or a service or a brand. You want to tell your friends about that.
So you send them a free robot, right? They have to use it.
No, we don't do that. No, we work with actual owners or users of that product or service.
The robot company will send you their customer list. You then go and try and activate some of their customer list of people that already use them.
Yeah, and then that's something that I think distinguishes Zuberance, if you look broadly in the advocacy and influencer marketing space, is that we work with people who actually own the product or have used the service. And, in some cases, Nathan, these product owners know more about the products than the company marketing them. Yeah. And I'm not trying to diss the companies here. It's just that, these advocates and evangelists they live with the product every day. Mm-hmm. They know the ins and outs of them. They know the strengths and weaknesses of them. They really understand them. And also they know who in their social network would benefit from that product or service.
So how many advocates
So
do you have on
they
your
not
platform
only,
today, would you say?
yeah. So, pardon me?
How many advocates do you have on your platform today, would you say?
Oh my! I mean, okay, if you go across, millions, millions that I mean, we have large advocate armies for these brands. Just to give you an example, for one brand alone, Intuit QuickBooks, we have marshaled an army of over 250,000 QuickBooks advocates.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's for one
What
brand.
does that mean, though? They've logged on at least once. They've done at least one promotion. How do you manage if they're active or not?
Yeah. So, well, if they're a part of a community that we host, we define an engaged advocate by they've taken at least one action in the last 90 days.
And what is it? What qualifies as an action, though?
Yeah, an action can be content creation, content sharing an offer, any of those things, and more.
Okay. Right? And will you ever cross promo your advocates? So if Intuit has 250,000 and the robot one has 4,000, will you ever try and get the robot folks to try the Intuit and the Intuit to try the robot?
Yeah, we've done a little of that, but keep in mind, Nathan, that these advocates belong to the brands, right? So they're not part of a Zuberance advocate network. They're part, a Nito robotics advocate is part of the Nito network. And so, we respect that relationship that they have with the brands. And in some cases, brands have expressed some interest in that. And in many cases, they view this as their own marketing department or marketing army. And they feel better about handling it that way.
Last few questions here, Rob. So economics-wise, churn is critical in a SaaS business. Tell me about your churn.
Well, we've had a really high retention rate. And
what's high, though? Like above what?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to customers, once they move out of the campaign basis and they go to an ongoing program, the retention rate for those customers is over 80%. Annually, right. Yeah. Now, if they're just doing a campaign, and there are a number of brands that will,
I'm just talking about your monthly customers, not your campaign ones.
Right, exactly. So once they become part of a subscription paying arrangement and they have an ongoing advocate army, they stick around.
That's great.
And they expand and they grow the program, as Intuit has done. Intuit is now they just renewed for their 8th year. They were one of our very early customers. And so they consider this an important part of their marketing mix.
So on that note, this is always a back of the napkin number. What do you assume lifetime value is on these enterprise clients once you sign them up? A minimum?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, minimum, it could be, 250, 300,000, something like that.
Yep.
But, if you look at the case of Intuit, where they just renewed for their 8th year, it's well above that.
I'm sure.
They got started early.
That's why I ask, is because I'm sure that's a great use case of where, their LTV could be in the 7 figures. Maybe it is, but it's hard to then try and use that as an assumption sell to apply to all your new customers coming in. And so it was interesting to hear you think about that. Tell me back to, again, the moment when customers join you, what is your all-in CAC, would you say, your fully diluted CAC?
Wow, I should have had my CFO on the call. I'm sorry.
It's more about how you think about it, right? So do you have an inside sales team you're paying a commission? Is it all direct paid spend? What is it generally?
Yeah, our model is direct sales, right? So we work directly with brands and sometimes through agencies as well. Our acquisition costs, we practice what we preach. So we have an army of our advocates who are referring prospective clients to us all the time. And I think that is a measure of any healthy, positive business is advocacy, right? So now I'm preaching, the Zuberance religion here. But yeah, so we don't do a lot of what you might call, obviously it would be a little weird if you saw a word of mouth company spending a lot of money on paid media.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, but what do you think it is, though? Maybe ask differently. Maybe you think about this number more. How quickly do you like to get your money back? So what's your payback period look like? 12 months, 6 months, 24 months?
Well, we invest a lot of time up front with a client when we're building out a program for them or an advocate community. The number one thing, by the way, that our customers are doing today on the Zuberance platform is that they're creating an online community of their advocates, which we call Advocate HQ. Now, launching that community is an intensive effort, and there's a team of people from Zuberance that'll work closely with the brand to get that done. So, we're putting forth a lot of effort in the initial 3 months to get that up and running, get the community engaged, get those initial challenges out there, and over time, of course, that turns into more of a manage and optimize effort, and so it's less intense from a professional services standpoint.
So, I mean, what do you think it is? You try and get your money back though in 12 months, 24 months? I get the upfront investment.
Much less than that. Much less than.
You think down as close as 6 months? You think?
Yeah, I think it's more like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty healthy. What's your team size today?
So we have about 25 people. We have a pretty sizable technology team offshore in India under a fantastic CTO that's based here in Silicon Valley.
Okay, so we got Silicon Valley and India. Those are your two prime locations?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, and then last question here. How you guys doing in terms of growth? What are you growing at year over year?
Well, we have, I think we've got steady, solid growth, and we are doing some product development now that we think is going to be the linchpin for rapid growth for Zuberance. I can't talk too much about this on this call. Stay tuned about that, but we're happy with where our growth is and has been, and we're looking forward to some interesting news soon that we think is going to propel the company quite substantially going forward. Yeah,
well, don't share that news yet about specific products and things, but I mean, generally speaking, the last 12 months, have you doubled, 30% growth year over year, 50? Generally, where are you at?
No, it's more in the 20%, 25% range, which is manageable, and I think. Especially, I think any entrepreneur will get this idea is that when you are developing new product, there's always that tug of war between serving existing customers and building new technology. And that's a healthy tension in any organization, but you can't lose sight of the fact of who pays the bills while you're building new stuff.
That's right.
So we're trying to strike that balance.
And Rob, when do you think, I mean, I'm making some assumptions here based off numbers we talked about earlier, but I mean, what year do you think you break the $40 or $50 million ARR mark? Do you think it's close or got to get 3-4 years? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think a lot depends on timing for the launch of the product and market acceptance. But, I mean, I don't like to attach years to particular forecasts and things like that, at least not publicly. But what I'll say is this, is that today, I think marketers more than ever understand how vitally important, and I'll use sort of the broader term here, influencer marketing has become. Now, we're a part of influencer marketing. We're that part of it that engages mostly your customer influencers. Yep. So all of the trends look really strong, Nathan, right? We're getting more calls than ever from marketers that are saying, we've done some things with large paid, the mega influencers hasn't worked very well. Model doesn't look very smart. But you guys, Zuberance, with your authentic influencers, some people call them micro influencers. This looks like it really fits our brand better. Yep. So we love the big trends. We love the space we're participating in, and we're excited about the new technology we're building. All
right, Rob, let's wrap up with the famous 5 here. Quick answers. Number 1, what's the last business book that you read?
Oh my. Well, so I got about a dozen of them on my bookshelf here, and the summer is coming up, right?
Just the last one you read.
There's Jeff Moore. Let me just say that I reread during the holiday break, Crossing the Chasm.
It's a good one.
Right?
Orange cover, great book. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Well, obviously, am a fan of the Apple CEO. They've got a number of challenges in terms of maintaining the growth of the company. But as a lifelong Apple fan and Apple evangelist, I think the work that Tim is doing over there is continues to be very strong.
Would you ever at Apple do reverse marketing campaigns? What I mean by that is I really believe that Apple, Google, these guys that see Facebook as a threat are doing a great job right now at propping up this Cambridge Analytica scandal. Would you ever run programs like that to get your influencers to negatively hit your competitors?
Oh, no, we're not.
Come on, Rob. Really?
No. Hey, listen to the name of the company, Zuberance, right? It means over an abundance of enthusiasm.
Not you. I meant when you were at Apple, did you ever do those kinds of things?
No. I was, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your business besides your own?
Well, we have a very nice little tool that has changed and helped improve a lot of the work we do called Envision. And our design department is a huge fan of it. I'm a fan of it as a rainmaker for Zuberance. I'm old enough to remember back in the days when we were FedExing mocks and comprehensive layouts to our clients. And with Envision, obviously, it's interactive, it's online, it's quick. We love that tool. So I'm a fan and I'm an advocate of
Coming up next week, we'll have Clark Valberg on the show. He's a CEO of Envision, so great app there. Look forward to that episode. Number 4, what's your situation? Number 4, Rob, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
One more time, please.
How many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
Oh, I'm sleeping a lot better. In the early days, it was, and when I was writing my book, I was lucky to get 4 hours of sleep. I'm getting a solid 7, I would say.
That's good. And what's your situation? Married, single? You have kiddos?
I am married to the beautiful Debbie Fuggetta. Together in our joint family, we have 3 lovely daughters, and so happy as happy can be there.
And how old are you, Rob?
I am 62 years old. So I'm the OG of social media marketing.
You are the OG. Real quick here, because I remember I got so into the software, we didn't talk a ton about the book. Why take time away from Zuberance and write a book? Books are tough.
Yeah, well, when I set out to write the book, I really wanted to put together, almost like a cookbook for how brands could identify, activate, and track their advocates and the results they were getting for these programs. So I think it's been actually a great, and I recommend it to entrepreneurs, by the way, especially if you're in a category creating situation like we were in, to at least, create some content that describes what you're passionate about. And for us, obviously, advocacy is more than a business. It's in our DNA, right? So having a book has been super important, very worthwhile task. And I was honored to work with a great team at Wiley Sons to produce that book.
All right. Last question. Take us back to your 20-year-old self. What do you wish you knew?
Oh my God. Well, that was so long ago. So I think that, I guess if I maybe just one thing that comes to mind is the importance of relationships, overall. I mean, I think that, as a 20-year-old, you kind of have I can conquer the world mentality, and I'm going to do everything my way. And, I think an entrepreneur, most entrepreneurs will relate to this, is that, you're a person that your mantra might be, got this, I got it, that kind of thing. Right. But, you don't got it by yourself. You need a team of people. And I am so blessed and so fortunate to have a fantastic team of people around me, and that I get the pleasure and honor of working with every day. So I think that the Rob Fuggetta at 20 probably was more of, I got this, I can handle it. Today, I'm more of, it takes a village.
Guys, there you have it from Rob. It takes a village. Founded Zuberance back in 2008. Heck of a time to start a company, but it didn't stop him. He since raised $15 million to build this company that helps with advocate marketing from people that are already customers of your product. He helps activate them. He's worked with about 250 brands. 100 of those brands now work with him on a monthly basis, paying on average $10,000 per month. So doing well north of $1 million a month now in revenue. Churn or retention, said the positive way, the Zuberance way, 80% annual retention on those logos, which is healthy. They're spending and getting their money back, their CAC money back in about 6 months. So healthy payback period. Lifetime value well north of $300,000. Again, their team of 25 based between San Francisco and India. Rob, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thanks you, Nathan. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.